Hi, I'm April. Welcome back to Love of Writing. And I wanted to talk about something that a lot of writers struggle with, which is how to get ideas. How do you know where to start? Or even dealing with writer's block. If you have an assignment for school or you just want to try to write a story, how do you start? Where do you get the idea? There are so many places that I get ideas. Some of the ones that work for me, and I don't know if this will work for you, and people have all different, I don't even know if there's techniques so much as just things that they do, and all of a sudden a story idea will just pop up. So strangely, a lot of times I will get ideas for a story from, well, during times when I can't write something down or speak, a line or an idea into my phone, like when I'm walking, although sometimes I'll have my phone with me. So if I'm out for a walk or I'm in the shower or I'm driving or I'm in that place where I'm just about to go to sleep or I just sort of wake up in the middle of the night and ideas will just flow. So I used to keep, actually, I think I still have a notebook by my bed in case ideas come while I'm trying to sleep and just write them down, even if it's, in the dark and they're crooked in the morning, but I can hopefully get an idea from that. So a lot of times, clearing your mind, going for that walk, going for that drive, you'll be amazed. Thoughts will just come into your head. Another thing that works for me, if I'm out at a restaurant, I'm just going to get something to eat, or I'm standing in line or something, and I'm not encouraging you to eavesdrop, but you might hear someone's conversation, even if it's just one sentence, and you don't really know the context. So kind of take a sentence that might sound interesting and start twisting it in your mind, run with it, see where it goes. Something that you overhear, an interaction between two people, or somebody who's talking on their phone and you just hear one side of the conversation, even literally, if it's one sentence, that might inspire you, or I used to, there was a family at my old church and they had, I think, I don't know, 5 boys. And I started thinking of, different, that's not a huge hard thing, but, I think they wanted a girl and this was like boy number 5. And I was like, gosh, what if they never ever have a girl? Or, let your mind run. That's something super simple. A family with all boys or all girls or whatever it is. Think if that happened to the world, or what if it happened in this one city? That would be even creepier, where nobody, they're all having boys and something, you know what I mean? So I took something that was very mundane, very commonplace, and put it in a different setting. And I changed it. I changed what it meant, what it could mean. So also try to go to with your senses. Go to a sensory place. If you're taking a walk and you're smelling something strange and interesting, what does that smell? What could it be? Think about different ways you can turn it into, think of 3 different things it could be and just let your mind run and see what happens. Think of sounds. What does that sound? What could that be? What if there was a strange animal that no one's ever seen, or whatever? Let your senses be involved in giving you a story. Let's see what, sorry, my cat is biting something. Stop it! So there's also these things called story starters and story enders. And I've done some story starters, which are really fun. I did them in school, and then I've just done some afterwards too, where you start out with one sentence. And I'm sure you could even just find some online or just make one up. But it might be better if it comes from a different source, because if you're having trouble starting, you might even have trouble starting with one sentence. But the first sentence is given to you, and you have to write a story based on that sentence. And on the flip side, there's something called story enders, where the last line is provided, and you have to write a whole story, and it has to end exactly the way that sentence appears. That has to be the last sentence of the story. That might be a little tougher, but if you sit there and just kind of let it, mull in your mind and see what comes up, exciting things happen. Some writers also have a muse, whether it's a person or a wonderful place. You could go to beautiful red rocks or go to the Grand Canyon or just go to the ocean. And again, that's a great place for the sensory elements to impact you. Look at a seashell and think of, what any story having to do with the colors, the shapes, what patterns are you seeing and the texture of it, anything. What has it experienced in its life, or who has it encountered, over the years, and the different people whose hands has that shell been in, and what are their lives like. So just let your thoughts run and jump off of things that a rock, a house, something simple, a blade of grass, and just run with it. So if you need to find a muse, find a beautiful place and just sit there and just let the thoughts come, and close your eyes and listen and see where your mind goes. A lot of times we get stressed trying to come up with an idea of a thought or a story, and that usually is blockage. But if you just relax, and that's why I think when I walk or I'm showering or I'm trying to sleep, these things where my mind is not really focused on anything except that activity or enjoying the fresh air, ideas just flow. So take off the pressure and just open your eyes and your ears and your nose. Are you feeling something wonderful as you're cutting through a path and maybe a soft plant touches your arm? What does that feel like? What is that birthing in you? So allow all of your senses to be involved, and you'd be surprised what kind of ideas you come up with for stories. So enjoy that ride.